Jacob Kittilstad joins us live where authorities found her body on the Fond du Lac Reservation. And Jake, investigators were still searching the backyard today.
Yes, just about an hour ago, you could still see officials with the Bureau of Criminal Apprehension still working on this area behind me, using shovels and shifting through dirt on this property off of Reservation Road. Now, Cloquet police have not talked about the condition of Watson's body other than she died from homicidal violence and she was not shot. Authorities released this mugshot of their 22-year-old suspect, arrested yesterday at 11 a.m. on unrelated charges. Those charges could act as a window to what kind of person he may be. He's accused of second-degree assault, a firearm violation, and a crime committed for the benefit of a gang.
We have detained and interviewed several individuals in relation to this case, including the suspect, and all of them are known and have been identified as Native Mob gang members.
Police described the suspect and Watson as acquaintances, also saying it does not appear that she was a member of the Native Mob. Charges could also be filed against the people living here as the investigation continues, and authorities were executing a search warrant when they found Watson's body, but authorities would not go into that any further, Dan and Deanne. And neighbors told me that the people living here are pretty nice, saying that they're very quiet, but they do have frequent visitors, some people from the Twin Cities, which have more connections to the legitimate Native Mob.
All right, Jake, thanks for the update live from Cloquet.
Yes, they're watching the results very closely, and although the race has been called by some media outlets, there were expectations that Walker would take an early lead, but it would balance out as the night went on. And actually, right now I'm joined by Lance Nelson. It really depends on the area, but for places like this where roads have been pretty much completely replaced by deep sinkholes and neighbors can't even move their cars, it could take months or even a year to return back to normal.
Go ahead and toss it over here to Jacob Kittilstad, who was talking to different residents all day today in this small-knit community. Frankly, neighbors who are around, who live around this courthouse here. It has to be tough.
Yes, this is a very small community. About 1,400 people live here. And as I talked to these people, inevitably, they knew someone who was either at that court case, was injured, or involved in some way. Looking from a distance at the Cook County Courthouse.
Overwhelming. You can't deal with that. It's just unbelievable.
Longtime community members don't quite know how to handle Thursday afternoon's triple injury shooting.
Yeah, there's a big crash because there's a hole in the back of the bus.
Really?
Police are also saying that at the moment they do not have the results of, say, a blood alcohol test. But Dan and Deanne, they are continuing their investigation, and pretty much any reason is on the table at this point.
Okay, thanks, Jake. Very lucky for those kids, especially that little guy there in your story.
Absolutely. It wasn't as much about what they saw, but what they heard out here, with the bullets seeming to fly by so close during what was supposed to be just a fun time out on the four-wheeler with Dad. 11-year-old Lindy LaPointe says his family was fixing a Christmas gift when his dad tensed up.
Then I heard, something that I usually hear off my video games when I'm playing them.
And this online annual event isn't only helping out this century-old canvas bag store. Duluth-based clothing and accessories retailer Maurice's also welcomed the electronic bump.
For us as well, it's really just
it feels like it's suctioning on me.
It'll squeeze you where you don't want to be squeezed.
Out here in the middle of Chequamegon Bay, the ice is a few feet thick, but around the edges where it's thinner and the ice fishers congregate, a simple change in weather could be cause for alarm.
And I thought he would think I'm crazy.
Found safely in the basement, firefighters return every pup to both of their worried mothers. The family doesn't know what it's going to do next, but for now, just knowing that these puppies are still alive is enough.
We're all safe.
The product of a 3-hour donated photo shoot, buyers scrambled for these pinups, which quickly became a hot commodity.
We've sold at least almost up to $5,000.
This 4-minute video clip released by authorities yesterday afternoon has received thousands of hits on our website and is gaining national exposure for showing this exchange involving Duluth police officer Richard Jope. Good evening, I'm Jacob Kittilstad. Jope's attorney says his client has yet to be charged for what happened in that video taken by security cameras on September 21st. But yesterday, 50-year-old Anthony Jackson, the man seen in the wheelchair, had his felony assault charge for striking a police officer dropped. The new information is bringing out all kinds of reactions.
Not just because you got the gloves on.
The actions taken by Officer Richard Jopi at the Duluth Detoxification Center was the culmination of the night started at San Marcos Apartments, a building reserved for the city's homeless and chronic alcoholics. 50-year-old Anthony Jackson, shown in this booking photo from the night, allegedly assaulted 2 people before police were called.
Throw it at me, see what happens.
At Detox, a security camera captured this video. One of Jackson's neighbors says he can't believe what he saw.
I was shocked. You know, that's not supposed to happen. Somebody in a wheelchair, you know, he was drunk, but so what?
Fox 21's Facebook also exploded after we posted the clip, expressing similar feelings. Christy Harubin started by calling it absolutely ridiculous. By releasing the video, Jopi's attorney says police administration is poisoning the future jury pool.
You know, if that's the game they want to play, I can play it too, but I think it's irresponsible that they did that, even before the guy was charged with anything. The guy assaulted a cop, and what do you expect to happen? I mean, that's all I can tell you. The cop's not, they're trained to not take a beating. They're trained to be on top of things. They're trained to respond with a much higher level of force than the level of force that is presented against them.
Duluth Police Administration disagrees, saying Jopi's actions are not proper use of force.
If a reasonable officer would take same or similar actions to use force, it's deemed to be reasonable. So there's some ambiguity. However, that is the standard that the courts use.
Some Facebook users say the actions seem justified. William David Gates' posts got 5 likes. Steve Lutz says there's nothing to like about it.
Knocking the chair over and then beating on them? No. If I did that to, you know, either one of you right now or something, where would I be?
You little, oh, I'm so beat up acting. It's about tired. Okay.
San Marcos apartment staff says Jackson is planning on making a statement on Monday. There's no word on when Jopi will be charged. The private prosecutor planned to take over the criminal case could not be reached for comment.
So a little while back, Fox 21's Jacob Kittilstad had an idea.
He wanted to go to the 4 corners of our viewing area and do 4 different stories in 24 hours.
Our newsroom thought he was a little for loco. And he did it. Almost. Take a look.
In one day, we plan to go as far as the Fox 21 signal broadcasts. Michigan's UP, northwestern Wisconsin, the Minnesota-Canadian border, and all the way up the North Shore. My photographer and I start the early drive heading east. It's 5 a.m. here in Bessemer, Michigan, and I'm at the Bread of Life Bakery. I'm about to go inside and find out what's baking.
My favorite thing to make here is this white bread.
This classic bakery has stood for about a century. Robert Sampson's been at the helm for the last 25 years.
Oh, at first I didn't like it because you're getting up at 3 in the morning.
But now, like his dough, he rises early with no problems.
I'll show you how we do this.
I couldn't quite get the hang of it.
I feel like it's so silly.
So it makes the fact the store bakes more than 300 loaves each morning even more impressive.
You feel kind of proud about yourself that you can accomplish all that stuff, you know.
And as the bread comes out of the oven, we continue our trip heading southwest. After about an hour-and-a-half drive, now I'm in Cable, Wisconsin to meet with the woman who makes these giant metal sculptures in her own home studio.
I'm a tools girl. I can talk shop with anyone.
Sarah Balbin has created hundreds of pieces using her torches.
I call it wrestling steel.
And carefully selected rocks.
Larger.
Would you say that's one of your signatures?
That is my signature, I'd say.
The art is Balbin's life. Big cities like Milwaukee have commissioned her to beautify landscapes with the cold metal she sees as a fluid canvas.
I think of steel like fabric. I know it's hard, but once you heat it, you can mold it, you can cut it, you can fabricate with it, which is what I do.
We could stay all day watching the sparks fly, but it came time to gas up and head out.
I've never been this far north in my life.
But Mother Nature has another idea.
Snowfall from 4 to 7 inches is expected by this evening.
Driving through this moderate snowfall, we finally made it to International Falls. It's about 2 o'clock and we're about to talk to a man who says that making models and preserving history is his passion.
These boats aren't there anymore.
They sure aren't. There's not a one of them left.
84-year-old Buck Johnson started making model boats at age 70, but their historical accuracy earned them spots in a Coochin County Museum showcase.
And this is your interpretation of that boat?
And a good interpretation too, because this is about one of the few that I actually could get on and get in and see all the pieces.
When the original boats started breaking down, he couldn't buy them, but he had to do something.
On this boat, I wanted to save it. And there was no way I could save it other than make a model of it. And all of these boats are gone. And all of them have a story.
Back into the blizzard, the weather takes a turn for the worst. It's almost up to my waist.
That accumulating snow will cause travel difficulties.
And just as the highways seem to disappear,
The boss called, the trip is canceled. We're 86 in Cranberry.
so we came, we saw, and we almost conquered. But in the end, this sleet and snow made the roads too dangerous for us to continue. So for now, we'll have to put our trip to Grand Marais on ice. Northland Weather wins this round, leaving one corner without a story, at least for now. With photojournalist Jeff Ernewine, I'm Jacob Kittilstad, Fox 21 News.